video here, we're going to go over the proper safety measures in using the bandsaw. The bandsaw is called a bandsaw because if I open up my doors right here, you can actually see that the blade is a giant circular band. All right, and when you turn it on, these two pulleys spin the blade in a rotating oval circle, whatever you want to call it, which creates enough force to get the cuts done that you want to get cut. Bandsaws are typically used for your smaller cuts, whether you're doing a cross cut or doing a rip cut. All right, cross cuts again, or we cut across perpendicular to our lumber, create a nice smooth cut, or rip cuts where we actually cut with our lumber and we're cutting for width. Okay, and typically we use these for smaller pieces. Now, when you want to set up the bandsaw, the first thing you got to pay attention to is the guard right here. All right, you want to have the guard set 1/4 of an inch above your lumber. All right, so you take your lumber, set it flat onto the table, set the guard to it's just barely touching your lumber piece. Now, if you look right here at our measuring guard, this tells you where it's currently set at. So what you could do is we're going to turn this so it's going 1/4 of an inch. So that's 4 little lines right here on my left side. So I turned it 2, 3, and 4. So now you look right here, it's high enough now to where it's going to make the cut, but still low enough to where if something happens where I'm not paying attention and my thumb is in the way, my thumb will actually hit these pulleys and basically give me an alert that says, hey, I'm about to cause an injury to myself, and give me to turn it off ahead of time. All right. There are situations where you can adjust the guard higher and everything, and you got to pay attention to what you're doing, but typically good practice is just keep your hands out of the little black danger zones, I call it over here. All right. Now, bandsaws again are typically used to cut smaller cuts, smaller straight cuts, things like that. But we also can do slight curves. Okay. The trick is when you're feeding a curve into the bandsaw, keep it going as you're cutting straight into it. Okay, because you never want to turn the board and cause the blade to start bending and twisting. Because what happens is it starts twisting going in, starts twisting wrapping around, and it basically gets twisted, and at some point it can possibly break and snap and cause an injury, or basically cause damage to the machine itself. All right. We also must understand about the bandsaw is that it takes a little while to start up, and it takes a long time to slow down. Okay, typically 12 to 15 seconds. Okay, now it seems like a long time, but again, if you're impatient, try to reach in there, you can see it could still sharp enough to cut you. Okay, so you always got to wait until the machines come to complete stop before you use it. All right. Now, in my class here, we typically use the bandsaw in 6th grade to cut the doors of our birdhouses, in 7th grade to cut the arcs for our wood serving trays, and in 8th grade they use it to cut the smaller cuts for their independent project and everything. So I'm actually going to demonstrate the 7th grade project here. I'm going to cut along the line here. Now I'm not going to cut right on the line, okay, because bandsaws give kind of a rough cut. So what's going to happen is we're going to cut right on the outside of the line a little bit, and then we're actually going to sand it down to the line so that everything matches up where we want it. But basically what I want to do is I want to get it lined up. Once it's lined up, I'm just going to slowly feed it in and make my cut. Okay, and you're going to see how well of a controlled cut this is, because at one point I'm actually going to let go of one of my hands. Okay, the bandsaws are so well controlled that you can get by using one hand when you're making your cut and still have good enough support for the lumber. So we're going to turn it on. We're going to bring our cut in here. Now again, as long as I keep my hand away from the blade, I should be okay. Feeding it in, nice and slow. There we go. I'm going to come to the end of the first one, go across, get into my cut here again. And again, as long as I'm feeding that line in straight, I'm going to be doing okay. Now I'm going to let go. You guys see my one hand's completely free, so I still have enough control in the cut to finish my cut the whole way through. And again, you can see here, all right, if you look right here, I actually did kind of twist and turn the blade a little bit, so it actually caused a burr mark. Okay, if you see a burr mark in your lumber, it's letting you know, hey, you're twisting the blade too hard, or you might actually be going a little bit too slow. Or a third possible issue is the blades or a little dull needs replaced. Okay, in this situation here, I kind of heard the high-pitched squeal, letting me know that I was twisting a little too hard, so that's why I have my burn mark there. Okay, and again, because of the rough cuts of the bandsaw, I didn't cut all my line the whole way through, because I'll just sand it down afterwards and make that smooth cut and making sure everything matches up there. All right, that's everything we're gonna need with the bandsaw. Hopefully you guys now can be safe when working with the bandsaw in the lab. Thanks for watching.